I'm doing this on this channel because the subject I'm going to talk about, while it's slightly music related, isn't actually music related. It's kind of more cultural. It's kind of more of an observation that I've seen, and I'm a little miffed by it and I feel like I'm in a unique position to talk about it, which we'll get to in a second. But there's a lack of information on both sides of the conversation, so I'm here to bring you some elucidation. So what I'm talking about today is, the question is the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce situation a psyop? First of all, no, it's not a psyop. Second of all, it's actually a work. Now I'm going to explain what a work is in a second. Also want to say, or talk about later on, because it's not going to be like a super long video, even when I started digging into answering this question, this could have been like a 20-minute video. I'm really going to cut this video down to like 7 or 8 minutes because it's a fairly easy, cut and dry thing to talk about. So to understand the idea of what a psyop is, you have to kind of go back to like definitions, because words mean things. So a psyop, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, or their often attributed definition, says it's a military operation usually aimed at influencing an enemy's state of mind through non-combatant means such as leaflets. Ultimately, more colloquial use of the term is that a psyop is ultimately propaganda. It's whenever any kind of media organization, or any organization in general, but it's mostly done in a modern context through television, movies, print media, though you can talk about the death of print media, to take the public's eye or the consumer's eye off a situation. The easiest definition of an NFL psyop, the most notable example of an NFL psyop, is the Ray Rice Deflategate scandal. So short version of that story, Ray Rice was an NFL running back who played for the Baltimore Ravens, and Flimlo Raps does a great encapsulation of that story, which I'm going to link to the description box below in this video, where he really breaks down the Ray Rice story and discusses it in full detail. And ultimately, Ray makes a bunch of bad decisions with his girlfriend, later wife at the time, and ends up striking her in an elevator, and there's the horrific scene of him dragging her body out of the elevator. She lived. And this became a media story, not just an NFL story. It became a media story for weeks. And part of the problem with it becoming a media story was how, because a lot of people didn't like and still don't like Roger Goodell, who's the commissioner of the NFL, how he was going to handle the suspension. Was Ray going to get 2 games? Was Ray going to get 6 games? Is any of that enough for the crime that he did? Ultimately, Ray Rice ends up getting indefinitely suspended from the league, which is a whole other story, which, like I say, Flimlo talks about. But it becomes a media firestorm and a problem from a PR perspective for the league. So, in order to take the public's eye off that situation and off the idea of just let's talk about Ray Rice and the horrific circumstance, on and on and on in the media, Deflategate happens. And what Deflategate is it's a situation involving Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, wherein during a playoff game, a defensive back catches an interception and goes to the referee and says, "Hey, this ball's kind of hinky. It feels different from the balls that my team throws or receptions that we would use, and it needs to be investigated." And it becomes a gift for the league. All anybody talks about for the next 2 years is, are the Patriots cheating again, because of a whole other situation with Bill Belichick taping a walkthrough and him being known as Belichick. And, is Tom Brady cheating? Is the dynasty tainted? And it becomes a media thing for 2 years. It pushes the Ray Rice thing off television screens and gets the focus of the NFL back to NFL things. That's a psyop. What a work is a wrestling term for those people that watch professional wrestling. It's when you take a real life situation and you weave it into the story of what's going on. There are a bunch of notable works in professional wrestling. Macho Man's jealousy, anger towards his wife gets worked into the superpower storyline. Magnum TA getting having a horrible car wreck kind of gets worked into the Dusty Rhodes Nikita Koloff superpower storyline. The modern context of the most recent example of wrestling fans getting worked is Cody Rhodes finishing the story where it was all thought this whole time that Cody was gonna get his moment at the next WrestleMania, and in comes The Rock, who's one of the newest members of the TKO board, who's gonna flex his muscle and aid his cousin Roman Reigns and in shaping the way the company works and the story works, and Cody's not gonna get his story because Roman and Rock are related in real life, and Rock joining the board is actually a real thing that happened. So they took that story and they melded it into the storyline to ostensibly make money. The Taylor Swift thing is the same situation. You can talk about those two people dating against type to come together, and that's its own story for other people to cover. But this is more like the Bruce Springsteen song "Tunnel of Love," where it's man meets woman, they fall in love, and it's happened super fast. They met. They're spending time together. The families have met, and it's a huge love story. And what's happened is it's taken the focus away from the dismal play that's been happening around the league, and specifically the dismal play that the Kansas City Chiefs have been having, in order to limp their way into the Super Bowl. Because they have a transcendent quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, a transcendent tight end in Travis Kelce, and it's just a great human story to say, here's this man who's found love in the time of adversity for his team, with notably the most notable celebrity on planet Earth. The love story is probably real. I think that he shot his shot with his super hot girl, and because everybody thinks the celebrity's unreachable. He's a lower level celebrity than her. Now they're dating. It's a thing. What the profit motive is that the Kansas City Chiefs have made a ton of money off merchandising. The league, it's a win for them because they've got a ton of new eyeballs on the product. The Swifties and the Swiftie Reddit are literally learning about how football works, and it's bringing a whole ton of new fans to the game of football, and all those people are going to find other teams to root for other than the Chiefs. Travis gets celebrated as an unsung tight end on his way out of the league. Should he decide to retire? It's a win-win-win all the way around. And for the league, they get to take this real life thing that happened, and work it into another human interest story, coming along at the biggest time for the most eyes on their product. No, it's not a psyop. It's not a propaganda move to get you to think about something else that's going on in the league or going on in the world. It's a work that the league is using for profit. That's what I wanted to talk about. That's what I wanted to dispel. Side note, real quick, at the end of this thing, which would probably be its own video in and of itself if I want to do it, the reason that there's so much backlash around Taylor Swift getting so much coverage is that it has seemed like for the last couple of years in NFL circles that the Kansas City Chiefs have been seen as the new golden boy team of the league. It's a way to kind of turn away from the Patriots dynasty and all the stuff that people felt was obnoxious about it, and turn to a more human story and a more Midwest story in the Chiefs. The backlash is that where the NFL sees that line of thinking with the way the dynasties work, it feels like, and it's also because it's never happened before, where any celebrity takes such an interest in the league that the league decides that they need to kind of piggyback off that celebrity and publicize it. That's what people are kind of concerned about. But it's not about saying that the few intact families that are watching the league together, that it's a bad model for men and their daughters watching the game. Because Taylor Swift literally in that controversy is just catching a stray. It could have been any other celebrity in any other context. The problem is she's the biggest celebrity in the world, and it's a a time in the league that's kind of having a lack of star power in and of itself. So that's it. That's me not making this video like 25 minutes. Thank you for coming to another episode of My Mind's Eye. Like, share, subscribe. And if something else weird happens, I'll talk about that.